Hello and welcome to Tokyo as the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship gets rounds 8 and 9 underway on the streets of the Japanese capital. After a spectacular debut in Season 10, this tight and technical street track is back for 2025, only now with double the wheel-to-wheel action around the Tokyo big site. After a dominant weekend last time out in Monaco, Oliver Rowland's victory and second-place finish in the second instalment of the doubleheader extended his lead in the championship to 48 points. Former world champion Antonio Felix da Costa sits in second, just 1 point ahead of teammate Pascal Wehrlein in third. Rookie Taylor Barnard drops to fourth in the standings after a disappointing weekend in the Principality, with Nick de Vries shooting up the leaderboard from 11th to 5th place after a very strong weekend for the Dutchman.
Obviously Monaco is a great weekend, as we had many times this year already, so can't complain too much. I think the team have done a great job. We just need to keep pushing, keep improving, and hopefully we can continue the form to the end of the season.
I think I was the fastest car of the weekend, which to come out of a weekend where you've scored no points, of course it hurts to know that you were the quickest, but looking forward to this weekend, I mean, it's definitely going to be wet on Saturday, so we're going to try and use as much of the learning as possible to try and get a result out of that.
This weekend can be dictated a lot by weather. Getting everything right in changing conditions is not a guarantee. However, I think we've definitely had pockets of performance with this car. It's just been a very hit and miss for us. So the idea is that if we can get into that performance window, we can have a strong weekend. We're starting to understand more and more where that performance window is, and yeah, I hope we're onto something.
The track has changed a little bit. The two jumps, if I may call them like that, should be reduced. There is 2 corners less at the end of the lap, so it's a long straight into a left-hander and the last chicane. I think it's going to be better for the racing in general.
Well, for us in the sim, the only real change was the turn 16, which used to be a chicane, and now it's just a fast left-hander. It's fun. I love fast corners, so that's always good, and it's downhill and going to be a little bit off camber and all that, so it's going to be a very tricky corner into a very hard braking.
Everyone will enjoy driving it. I just hope the weather will allow us to have a race.
Over now to Formula E's Tom Brooks as we take a closer look at this challenging 18-turn street track.
Rounds 8 and 9 of ABB FIA Formula E continue in Tokyo. The championship is now well and truly into its stride, and let's have a look at this beautiful venue for Season 11. 2.575 kilometres long, 18 turns in total, and here is the track. An anti-clockwise layout. Turn 4 is where attack mode will be activated for our drivers. This is last year's eventual ePrix winner, Maximilian Günther, going through and gaining some extra power during the race. Then the circuit really begins to open up. We come through into turn 9. This is a fast right-hander, the quickest on the track. The wall awaits those who are too optimistic on the outside of the corner, so keep an eye out for that when we go racing. Then we come down through in towards turns 10 and 11, a fast chicane, and again another quick section of the track before the left-hander of turn 15. Jake Dennis and Antonio Felix da Costa going head-to-head in the closing stages. And then we head towards the end of the lap. A final chicane completes it, and don't forget about pit boost, which we used for a second consecutive Formula E weekend. Can Oliver Rowland extend his lead in the championship? It's time for titanic tussles in Tokyo.
Time now to head down to the grid as we get ready for lights out here in the Japanese capital. Talking you through all the action for round 8 is our commentary team of Andre Lotterer and James Rossiter alongside Tom Brooks.
And the top 10 on the grid then. Robin Bright, he finished 13th here last year after some contact in the race. He'll be seeking his 3rd points finish of the season. Next up is Maximilian Günther, last year's race winner. He lines up 9th and aiming for his 2nd win of the 2025 season. Then you've got Dan Tickton, who lines up with his 3rd successive top 10 start. Sebastian Buemi, his first win in 78 races last time out in Monaco, with Nick de Vries just in front. He's aiming for his 4th top 5 start in 4 races. Taylor Barnard, no points in Monaco and in the wall in FP1. He's got Norman Nato for company, and he'll be seeking his 1st podium of season 11, the Frenchman from 3rd on the grid. Eder Mortara started 3rd here last year, but it was disqualified after a technical infringement, so he'll be hoping to make right the wrongs. And Oliver Rowland has his 2nd successive pole here in Tokyo, aiming for his 4th win of the season and to extend his 48-point lead in the Drivers' Championship.
It's going to be super exciting.
It certainly is then. So there is Jake Dennis right at the back of the field. The green flag is waved at the back. When the checkered flag falls, who is going to be fast and who is going to be furious as we wait for the 5 red lights to come on. And Formula E is go in Tokyo. Oliver Rowland gets a nice start, not bad also from Norman Nato. Look at Mortara chopping over on the Nissan driver, nearly 3 abreast down into the first corner. Who's got the lead? It's Oliver Rowland. Nato is on the outside, Barnard's on the inside of Mortara, and side-by-side action there as Max Günther was really sideways through the first couple of corners. Barnard getting ruffled out there and trying to be challenged by the Nissan of Norman Nato. One of the envisions of Sebastian Buemi goes really wide as they're struggling for grip. Side by side still between Nato and Mortara through into the right-hander. Mortara's going to lose out here and possibly be under threat from Dan Tickton as they come through. And now the 2 envisions also lining astern as well. One of the envisions, I think that was Buemi, yeah, who's gone in for attack mode early here, isn't he?
He wants to get into the lead of this race as soon as possible.
There's so many places to be gained where the pack is so close together, so this is the strategy that they opted.
Yeah, so 8 minutes of attack mode for the drivers in this race, and Buemi, Da Costa, as well as Evans are all trying to cycle through the field while it's as bunched up as possible.
Yeah, also the quicker you can get to the front, the more you can see, better visibility, less chance of a mistake, so it's quite an interesting approach by those guys.
Certainly is. Oliver Rowland, Team Radio.
So Buemi activated, 4 minutes is down to P8.
P6
Gap
already.
to him, 4 seconds.
So it's 4 seconds. I'm assuming he's saying that's the time he lost.
He's 4 seconds behind at the moment, and we've seen 4 seconds a lap faster in these conditions with the attack mode compared to the standard mode in free practice 2.
Well, look at him now. He's all over the back of Norman Nato, and this is going to be an easy pass as he comes out of the final corner. 4-wheel drive traction and an extra 50 kilowatts of power. Buemi is up and into 4th place then, ahead of the Nissan.
Yeah, it's very smart to do that because you also have a lot more gain because there's no tire temperature yet. So with 4-wheel drive, you get even more because potentially later during the race, everyone has got a bit more grip. So the delta you can achieve with attack mode is less.
Mortara's in, Price is in, Byrne is in for their attack mode as well. Different deployments in strategy there for De Vries. He's gone for 2 minutes of attack mode, so it's the other Mahindra of De Vries that's gone in instead of Mortara, I apologise, as Van Dorn cycled down a few places courtesy of his first attack mode deployment here. On board we ride with Sebastian Buemi through that fast and fierce turn 9. Big snap of oversteer, just about keeps it out the wall. That was close though.
He's still got a lot of confidence from Monaco, I think, in these conditions. Great to see.
Through into the chicane comes Buemi. His next target will be Taylor Barnard, and you can visibly see how much faster he is. Despite the fact he's in 4-wheel drive, he is still fighting the car. It's dancing around like he's doing the waltz on this Tokyo circuit. Into turn 15. A little bit deep on the brakes there, just about manages to pick it up, but he's got a great slingshot out the corner on the Neon McLaren here. Don't think he's going to think about a move into turn 16 unless he fancies a trip to the wall on the outside, but lining something up through the final corner would be a very welcome possibility here for Sebastian Buemi. And look at the extra traction and performance that he is going to have over the Briton as he exits out the final turn and will blast alongside the Neon McLaren driver down to the first corner. Has he got the grip under the brakes? And into turn 1, side by side they go. Buemi's got the inside line, he's got track position, he's got 3rd. You can see there on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, mandatory 1 pit stop per driver. Runs at 600 kilowatts, the ultra-fast energy boost. It gives them an extra 10% worth of energy over that 34-second pit stop. Van Dorn, the first driver to blink. Here he is in the box, and now he comes back out and into the race. So he'll be out of sync compared to everybody else at the moment, but of course it'll all work out in the long game here for him.
But with clear track, clear visibility, he'll be able to run his own pace as fast as possible now. He will literally be in a sprint until the others will take their pit boost so that he can try and get the track position that Andre was mentioning is so important.
Wehrlein's not made too many inroads in this race, down in 19th, but he has got 2 attack mode deployments available. Is that a cause for concern, do you think?
I wouldn't be concerned at this point, no.
He's got a lot more energy compared to other drivers around him, at least.
There's a long way to go and a lot of things can happen in this race.
You see Oliver Rowland, his race results so far in 2025. He has been in imperious form so far this year. His consistency has really been the making of him. The only blots on his copybook was back in Sao Paulo in December, where he didn't get a points finish, and that wasn't his fault. He got a penalty, as did a number of the Nissan Power cars in that race. Ever since then, though, he's just been pretty much untouchable.
No, he's been on great form, and he's really commanding this race. Just set the fastest lap. He's absolutely flying out there. He's so at one with the car. clearly doesn't need too much communication with his engineer from his previous radio message. But yeah, they're going to have to start informing him of where the pit boost window is, and that's going to be really interesting to see how Oliver and the team manage the pit boost window here.
De Vries also now in that pit boost window in 5th position as well. Expect to see quite a few drivers coming into that window over the next couple of laps or so, because as you can see, everybody in the top 10 but for Oliver Rowland has used that first attack mode deployment, so they've expended more energy in the early stages of the race. So it's Rowland that leads for Nissan, from Mortara for Mahindra. Buemi, the winner last time out in Monaco for Envision, in 3rd, ahead of Barnard in 4th. De Vries in 5th position in the 2nd of the Mahindras, who did a fantastic job keeping the likes of Barnard and Natto behind whilst they were in attack mode earlier on. And let's see whether De Vries boxes at the end of this lap. No, he decides to carry on. That's okay. He's got between 60 and 40% state of charge, so he doesn't have to do it necessarily on this lap. He can wait another time and go again.
Mortara also benefiting now from having good visibility, and you just said fastest lap with 28.1, which is 2-3 tenths faster than what Rowland did.
Oh no, Maximilian Gunter's come to a stop. Yellow flag is out. That's down at turn 13, and if that's not going to be able to be recovered quickly, or if he can't get the car going, that could be absolutely critical. We could get a full course yellow. Would that pay dividends for the likes of, I'm thinking, Nick De Vries, because he's in that pit boost window. He's allowed to take it either under a full course yellow or a safety car.
That's exactly what we were talking about. So if I would be him, I would go in there now, and that would have been the ultimate luck. Oh, red flag.
Red flag is out. So the race has been suspended then. So then, 20 laps of action about to resume here in Tokyo, and a pit boost stop then for Jake Dennis. He's expended a lot more energy though compared to those around him, so I think he's going to have to save quite a bit. There is now a gap, of course, on the grid where the Briton should have lined up. We now wait for the green flag to wave at the back. So the restart of this one, 20 laps of action until the checkered flag. Oliver Rowland on the left, Jake Dennis on the right-hand side of the picture at the moment in the pit lane. Mortara alongside Oliver Rowland as the red lights are on, the lights go out, and we get the restart underway then here. And who gets the best drag? Down towards the first corner with all-wheel drive traction. Look at Mortara. He's going for the lead down into the first corner, but he's not quite close enough on Oliver Rowland. They filter through the first few places in the positions that they started. So it's Rowland from Mortara, from Buemi, side by side here with Freins versus Natto, who's going to get shuffled out almost towards the wall on the exit of turn 3. He's now side by side with the Envision going through turn 4. Nobody goes for attack mode at the start of this race, and you can see there as well that Johnny Riverne is trying to get involved in the action here with Sam Bird very close behind. So Rowland it is that leads as they come out of that tight and twisty first sector. Dennis has done his pit boost stop. He's now out of the pit lane and he's gone for his first attack mode deployment. So he wants to try and close that deficit down to everybody else in front of him as much as he possibly can whilst they're all bunched up on this restart.
Yeah, very smart move there from Dennis and the Andretti team. It looks like they could end up with the podium here.
Rowland with a big snap of oversteer there through turn 15, manages to keep it facing in the right direction and keeps it out of the wall, but he knows he needs to push on as much as he possibly can going through these first couple of laps to build out an advantage, to give himself that window of opportunity to hold on to the lead when he takes attack mode. Dennis is under investigation for entering pit lane while it was closed. So was the pit lane closed once the safety car came in? Has he got a penalty on his way?
Gap minus 2.1. We should cover. Check dash orange.
So Rowland now into the pits as well as Eder Mortara at the start of lap 24 then.
From what I understand, that's hit 2.1 seconds to Barnard, who they're racing for. Barnard's been setting some very fast laps. I've been keeping an eye on his lap times, and he's been closing the gap to Stoffel Van Dorn. So he was clearly coming into a threatening position for Oliver Rowland. Yeah,
Barnard's looking quite good here, as is, as we said, Stoffel Van Dorn as well. Look at this move being made on the inside. That's Pascal Wehrlein versus the sole remaining Jaguar of Nick Casti for 4th place. Wehrlein in attack mode with all-wheel drive and 350 kilowatts, made that look nice and easy down into the first turn. As we wait for Rowland to exit out of the pit lane and resume the race then. And what's it going to look like for him? He had enough of an advantage over Mortara to be quite comfortable. But what about the rest of the field? Have they been able to use whatever track time they had to their advantage? Here comes Mortara out of the pit lane. It's going to be behind Taylor Barnard then here.
Yeah, Barnard's been putting in some stonking laps. He's been out there really pushing on and clearly making up some good ground.
But Mortara's got an attack mode deployment left, so that could pay dividends for him, because if it's about 3-4 seconds or so, the gap between them, he could use that to his advantage later on. Bird keeping a watching brief on proceedings behind there as well, but he's got a 5-second penalty, as we know as well. A crunch of carbon fibre through that first sector. And let's see whether Verline is going to have anything left in his locker to try and get himself back in front of Nico Muller for 12th position. Let's have a look here at Stoffel van Dorn. So we know that he has got a nice comfortable cushion over the rest of the field, but has he made a mistake down into the first corner? A few drivers have gone deep, and he went deep there as well.
Not too much of a time.
Oh no, he spun it. He spun it at turn 2,
well,
Stoffel van Dorn. And he hit into the wall.
I mean, this is the problem when you got 25 seconds of lead. You know, maybe you're not concentrating too much, you're focusing on what's going on behind you. He needs to get his concentration back on point and really make sure he just doesn't make any mistakes. He could drive a second a lap slower than anyone else.
He lost 5 seconds on that lap.
Roland's still got a chance then.
Yeah, Cassidy's in his pit boost stop then here as well. Where's he going to emerge in relation to Pascal Verline? What was the in-light lap there for Nick Cassidy? Not bad from him, but not brilliant there either. Be touch and go between the two. Sharp end of this race, Van Dorn, we haven't mentioned him too much. You can see him there just in the top left corner of your screen. He's got 14.4 seconds. He's back right off in the closing stages of this race. No surprise at all there for him, because there's no point taking unnecessary risk given the advantage he's got over Ollie Rowland.
No, with the mistake we've already seen him make, 14 seconds with 5 laps to go is massive, so he just needs to bring this one home, take it nice and easy. As you said, no mistakes at all.
And for Rowland as well, this is a great job for him. Second place, again, it's just the consistency that he's just racking up these podiums after podiums, maybe not finishing on the top step quite as much as he may desire, but this is what wins a Drivers' World Championship. He's going the right way about it.
Yes, and his main contenders are Da Costa in P7 and Verline in 13th, so he's going to build another gap in the championship again.
It has been a bit of a disappointing race for Pascal Verline outside of the points. Look here, though, at Jean-Eric Vergne, who's all over the back of Robin Freitz like a cheap suit as we come down into turn 15. Can he make anything into there? It's not quite close enough at the moment. Into turn 16 could be an opportunity. Even before that, side by side we go. On the outside, look, Jean-Eric Vergne, it's a brave driver who tries to put one over on the Dutchman through there. A slip of oversteer for Freitz going through there. Runs it a bit deep, and that's going to compromise his run onto the start-finish straight. And of course, we know that Vergne has got attack mode and four-wheel drive. Pulls alongside the Envision, and he's going to side through and into 9th position down to the first corner. Can he get it stopped, though? No, he runs it deep, and Freitz back through. But he's going to have another opportunity in a couple of corners' time, I'm sure. This is a fantastic tussle as Freitz again goes wide, but he's got the inside line to try and block any attack from Vergne going through the left-hander, but it's only a matter of when and not if we're going to see Vergne attacking again over the course of this lap.
And he still has a minute left, but the difficulty with that attack mode is that you arrive so much faster in the corners that your braking point is completely different and you tend to overshoot it, and this is exactly what happened. But obviously he was trying to pass Robin and try to brake a bit later, but there's not much more grip on attack mode either there.
Freitz defends, but Vergne's to the outside into the chicane and makes it stick. That's brave and brilliant from Jean-Eric Vergne. Up through to 9th position for the Frenchman. Fantastic.
I didn't think we'd see a move there on the inside, let alone around the outside. What an unbelievable move by Jean-Eric.
There's one lap to go at the end of this one, and this is going to feel like the longest lap of Stoffel van Dorn's life here in Tokyo.
Yeah, they asked him to drop the pace to do a lap less and have a bit of less risk and put that in the bag as soon as possible.
Buemi's challenge has faltered somewhat on Taylor Barnard. We expected it to do so. He's right behind Rowland, so all that Buemi can hope for is that Rowland and Barnard start tussling amongst one another, and that draws them back into the clutches of Sebastian Buemi. Through the left-hander of turn 16 we go. This is where Barnard ended up in the wall in free practice 1. And Barnard sniffs a possibility of second position here for Neon McLaren. Out of the final corner we go, across the timing line. One more lap to go, 2.5 kilometres separating Rowland, Barnard and Buemi from a potential podium finish. 3 drivers, only 2 positions available. Who gets it? Pensive faces in the Nissan garage here. Ivan Espinosa, the Nissan CEO, watching on, and I'm sure if we stuck a heart rate monitor on him, it'll be right up there, because he can see Roland with 2% worth of energy left at this one. Close with Taylor Barnard behind. Through the first sector we go, and Barnard trying to find a way through, and almost into the back there of Oliver Roland as we come through into the fastest part of the circuit then, into turn 9. You can't find a way through there. And Roland is quite close on energy, so is he having to back off in the closing stage of this one as Barnard has a big snap of oversteer through the right-hander?
I think he's really struggling on energy here. I do think he's going to have to lift before turn 16, and I wonder if that's going to give Taylor a sniff on a very difficult corner.
So this is now or never time here for Taylor Barnard. You can see him harrying the car, sliding all over the place as we come down in towards turn 15. He's not close enough to make a lunge through there. Meanwhile, we see the Maserati of Jake Hughes up the road. Here is his teammate, though, Stoffel van Dorn. He's not had a victory since Monaco in 2022, but he does so now. Stoffel van Dorn wins on the streets of Tokyo here for Maserati MSG. 2 wins in a row for that outfit here in Japan. Absolutely phenomenal, commanding drive as Roland does hold on for second place by the skin of his teeth from Taylor Barnard in third position. A fantastic result for both of those drivers, but Van Dorn takes the win. Let's get confirmation of the results then for round 8 here in Tokyo. It's Stoffel van Dorn who takes his first win since Monaco 2022, ahead of Oliver Roland and Taylor Barnard. Then it's Sebastian Buemi in 4th position, ahead of Dan Tincton. Great result for him in the Cupra Kiro in 5th place, ahead of Edo Mortara. A missed opportunity for the Swiss driver following a battery issue at the end of that race. He finished just ahead of De Costa, De Vries, Jean-Eric Verne, and then Robin Freitz on the fringes of the top 10. Just outside of the points was Nick Cassidy, ahead of Nico Muller. Championship winner from season 10, Pascal Wehrlein, down in 13th position, ahead of Sam Bode, who got a 5-second penalty at the end of that race. Not quite sure what happened to Norman Nato, but he was classified in 15th position, ahead of Maloney, De Grassi, Beckman. Jake Hughes was the last of the classified runners. We saw Mitch Evans retiring with a technical problem. Günther came to a stop and brought out the red flag in the race, and Andretti's Jake Dennis was disqualified for entering the pit lane when the red light was on.
I mean, super happy that our plan actually worked. It was a very bold and aggressive strategy decision to burn a lot of energy in the beginning, so we could open our pit window early. Then obviously we were the first ones to pit, and we got a bit lucky with the red flag that the field got bunched up again. So yeah, after the restart, it was very difficult to bring the car home. A lot of management to do with giving codes to the team and making sure I had enough energy left to make it to the flag.
And the Drivers' World Championship then, 48 points was the advantage for Oliver Roland coming into this weekend. He's now extended that after one race of the double-header here in Tokyo to 60 points ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. So whatever he does, he'll emerge this weekend as the championship leader. Barnard's up into 3rd place. Mortara has also made some ground further down. Dan Tincton, likewise, just outside of the top 10, leapfrogging ahead of Hughes, Evans, Cassidy, Muller, as well as Lucas Di Grassi. So very well-deserved couple of weekends there for Dan Tincton. And the Teams Championship as well. Nissan now ahead of Tank Heuer Porsche for the first time in a long time in Formula E. So they now have a 5-point advantage over the factory outfit. Neil McLaren moving ahead of DS Penske, 4th place for them so far. Maserati MSG also elevating themselves up the order courtesy of that strong result here for Stoffel van Dorn.
Send the trophy to our winner, Stoffel van Dorn!
The first time the Belgian driver has held the winner's trophy in 49 races, and a very well-deserved performance for him. And now time to run and cover as the champagne sprays.
So that concludes our first race here in Tokyo. Tune in again tomorrow as we do it all again for round 9 of the all-electric series. Don't miss it. Hello and welcome back to Japan for our second instalment of the Tokyo ePrix as we get set for racing action in round 9 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Saturday's race delivered the drama as torrential rain saw qualifying cancelled and the grid set from the results of FP2. But that didn't stop Stoffel Vandoorne from storming to victory from 14th on the grid to take his first win since Monaco in Season 8 and giving Maserati MSG Racing back-to-back wins in Tokyo. Oliver Rowland continued his incredible run of form with a 6th podium in 8 races as he finished in P2, extending his championship lead to a huge 60 points. Meanwhile, rookie Taylor Barnard held his nerve under pressure to keep Sebastian Bremy at bay and claim his 4th podium of the season. Now with round 9 on the horizon, who will be victorious as the grid regroups and prepares to go racing once more in the Japanese capital?
We had really good pace in the beginning. In the full rain conditions, we were flying. I could pull away quite easily. We did 2 very good starts. The track was pretty tricky. It was quite wet in the beginning. But yeah, we kind of pulled away. We held them off for attack mode. We had an advantage to have 8 minutes left when most of them had 4. I think we did everything right, and then we just got a little bit unlucky with the red flag, but these things happen.
To have a victory here in Tokyo again, second time for Maserati, so it's a beautiful day. It was a very tricky one to manage with the wet conditions, but at the same time that really opened up some opportunities. We gambled in a way, but it was a calculated gamble and everything planned out the way we wanted it to.
To stand on the podium in the race this afternoon was something very special for me. It definitely feels good after the last few rounds where we've not really scored much points in the races, so yeah, today feels great.
We unlocked the rain. It looks like we're good on the rain. Yeah, I mean, we'll take it. We'll take the good results. Obviously, you know, we don't take anything for granted. Tomorrow it's going to be dry normally, so we'll have to do our best. But yeah, on the wet, it looks like we're doing a good job.
Over now to Formula E commentator Tom Brooks as we take a closer look at this tight and technical track.
Rounds 8 and 9 of ABB FIA Formula E continue in Tokyo. The championship is now well and truly into its stride, and let's have a look at this beautiful venue for season 11. 2.575 kilometres long, 18 turns in total, and here is the track. An anti-clockwise layout. Turn 4 is where attack mode will be activated for our drivers, gaining some extra power during the race. Then the circuit really begins to open up. We come through into turn 9. This is a fast right-hander, the quickest on the track. The wall awaits those who are too optimistic on the outside of the corner, so keep an eye out for that when we go racing. Then we come down through in towards turns 10 and 11, a fast chicane, and again another quick section of the track before the left-hander of turn 15. Jake Dennis and Antonio Felix da Costa going head-to-head in the closing stages. Then we head towards the end of the lap. A final chicane completed. Can Oliver Rowland extend his lead in the championship? It's time for titanic tussles in Tokyo.
Time now to head down to the grid as the cars line up for round 9. Talking you through all the action is our commentary team of Andre Lothra and James Rossiter alongside Tom Brooks.
And then we look at the top 10, and here is how it lines up. You've got Sam Bird in 10th place. That's only his second top 10 start of season 11. He's had no points since Jeddah. His teammate Taylor Barnard alongside for Neon McLaren, making it an all-Neon McLaren Row 5. He was on the podium here yesterday. Norman Nato was in the wall in the group stages of qualifying, the quarterfinal stages of qualifying, I should say. He'll be hoping for some forward progress, whilst Da Costa seeks his first podium since Miami. He's second in the championship, but 63 points adrift. Degrassi, his season best qualifying for Lola Yamaha at, and then Mortara, he was 6th yesterday and lines up 1 place ahead in P5 this afternoon. Jean-Marie Verne 4th on the grid for a second successive Formula E weekend. His last podium in Formula E was back in Portland last year. Verline pointless yesterday, and he will be hoping for progress for his first top 3 start for the first time since Jeddah. Dan Ticktum, his best ever qualifying in Formula E, his first time on the front row in his 57th start, but it is Oliver Rowland, the championship leader, a 10th career pole position, his 3rd time starting from pole in all 3 Tokyo ePrix. He is 63 points clear in the Drivers' Championship. A vacant space where Mitch Evans' car should have lined up, but for his crash in qualifying. The green flag is waved at the back. It is all eyes on the lights as Formula E takes over in Tokyo. Lights out and we're underway. Away from the start, and a good launch there for Oliver Rowland. He chops over on Dan Ticktum. Look though at the Porsche of Pascal Wehrlein coming through on the outside, 3 abreast down in towards T1. Ticktum trying to firm it around the outside through turn 2. Can he get the better of Wehrlein, or is Wehrlein going to come through? Very close quarters between the two. Rowland's managed to keep hold of the lead into turn 4. Still side by side we are for second place, and Ticktum does manage to stay ahead of Pascal Wehrlein. Tries to challenge for the lead against Oliver Rowland, but the door was very firmly shut.
Taylor Barnard making a great move there down the inside of turn 6.
There's contact in the mid-pack here as well. I think that's one of the DS Penske's who clattered into the back of somebody. Da Costa was definitely in the midst of some contact in the middle of the pack there as well, as we see Norman Nato trying to cycle through against Lucas de Grassi for 8th position. Through turn 9 we go, down into the braking zone of turns 10 and 11. Rowland it is that leads then. Ticktum, then Wehrlein, then Mortara, then Verne. So pretty much as you were at the start of this race, but a lot of action in the mid-pack.
And we saw a lot of good behaviour between Dan Ticktum and Pascal Wehrlein. They both had the Porsche powertrain. I'm sure they were both told to behave in that first part of the lap.
Something that's quite hard to control, because obviously Pascal had the opportunity to be inside for turn 2, but they managed to really well to drive there together without any contact.
Look at Rowland as well. He is leading this one, and he's trying to build out a bit of a buffer here with the likes of Dan Ticktum and Pascal Wehrlein very close behind. This is expected to be an energy-sensitive race, but not one that's the peloton style like we've seen in previous Formula E races. So let's see how this one is going to play out and how much energy the drivers will need to conserve over the course of it once we get into the first flying lap. Fries is in the pit lane then. He started right at the back.
So the penalty has been given, so we will box this lap, maximise the slipstream while you can.
So that's as part of his 20-place grid penalty. He has to serve a drive-through there as well. So a stop and go for Robin Freins, meaning that he will come back into the race quite a way down. His hope now will be a safety car.
He's just going to have to save as much energy as possible now. Drive around in clean air, hope that the guys don't catch up to him, and then a safety car or something like that can bring him back into the game.
Barnard through on Nato for P6, then into the chicane, made that look nice and easy. Next target, Jean-Eric Verne, who is up the road. Verne is the sort of last driver in the lead group, as it were, that hasn't made an attack mode deployment at the moment. So let's see how quickly he's going to be able to get himself in front of the Frenchman. Wehrlein again looking aggressive on Dan Ticktum for second. So Barnard now through on Verne, coming through turn 16, and a bit of hip and shoulder there between de Grassi and Da Costa through the final corner. Da Costa has got his attack mode deployment remaining 3 minutes as they come across the timing line.
It's 3 or 4 wide going down.
Fantastic, isn't it? On board we are here with Jake Dennis. He might be a bit of a sitting duck because he's got Buemi in front of him who's in attack mode, but Gunther and Maloney behind who are also in. And look at this, a smorgasbord of drivers at the start of lap 7, all of whom are going into attack mode. Everybody but leader Oliver Rowland into attack mode then in the top 10.
Now, could we see Dan Ticktum vault himself into the lead and get in front of Oliver Rowland? Because if he can get that track position. Maybe that's what Oliver wants. He's been a master of strategy this season. Maybe he wants Dan to overtake him so he can drive behind and save a little bit of energy in the slipstream.
Well, that's going to be my next point, is that Ticktum, of course, if he gets ahead, that's all well and good, but he's in attack mode. He's expending more energy at this point now.
At this point, but we don't know yet where everyone's energy levels are relative to each other. Now, those first 3 are going to be very efficient, and I think that he's going to have to get past him very soon. I think he'll do it at the exit of the final corner, starting the next lap.
And you can see he's unlocking some pace to create maybe a gap to only lose 1 position to maybe Dan Ticktum. But yeah, he was holding the pack together, but now he's unlocking some pace to create a gap and go for attack mode.
He also got someone between himself and Wehrlein, which was so important.
Yeah, this is working nicely here for Ticktum. He goes to the inside for the race lead, down to the first corner. Dan Ticktum leads for Cupra Kiro. And fantastic overtake there down into turn 1. And now we see the remaining energy available for the drivers. Ticktum and Rowland, pretty even Stevens at the front.
Ticktum looks really strong here. His car looks so well balanced, and when you have a good balance in your car, you can roll the speed through the corner, and having high minimum speeds, you are able to use less energy.
But ideally, you don't want to be on attack mode at the same time as the others, because you don't create that delta in speed.
Barnard's been able to make a position there against Pascal Wehrlein, possibly looking to threaten Oliver Rowland down into turn 10. Rowland defends, covers the line on the inside. Can't get 2x2 through there. Some drivers have struggled to get one car through there over the course of this weekend, but I think it's a matter of when and not if we're going to see the Briton go for the move, looking to the outside, into turn 15. Can he get this one done? There's a bit of contact into there, as Roland again takes the defensive inside line, compromises his exit. Here comes Barnard through, and up into second.
Is there anything this rookie will not do in a Formula E car? What an amazing move.
Yeah, incredible. He's really, really good and very decisive to do the good overtakes, and very, very great to see, and drives like he has a lot of experience already.
Roland's can now move behind Pascal Wehrlein, who's blast past him down the start-finish straight into the first corner. So 3 places lost over the course of 1 lap then for Oliver Roland. On board we ride
Attention
here with
everyone,
Dan
this is race
Tickton.
control speaking. We go full course yellow in 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow.
Full course yellow then, that's for debris on the circuit. You can see a bit of what looks like front wing presumably there. So that means the drivers are going to have to slow right down here.
I really hope Dan Tickton didn't overshoot the entry into that full course yellow, because he looked like he braked much later than Pascal Wehrlein.
Yeah, you can see the debris there on the circuit.
That's Nick de Vries's front wing.
The one that you were saying you're surprised they haven't given a flag for.
Yes, I was expecting a flag for Nick's front wing that was hanging off after that damage was found, but clearly he's been given a warning for it. But yeah, those sorts of incidents shouldn't be happening.
So let's see what's happening then in this full course yellow and take stock of things. Tickton is that leads, Wehrlein, Barnard close behind. Roland is in 4th place, but still has his 2 attack modes remaining. The field all bunched up now, and the gap should neutralise. Let's have a look at de Vries's front wing going off of the car. So he had a bit of contact then into turns 10 and 11.
Big old whack into the back of Sam Bird.
Let's have a look at it. He's just going to get all crossed up on the brakes here, presumably.
Whoa.
He's braked way too late.
Way too late. Luckily, it's a big impact and very low damage. He got lucky with that. Cassidy on a mission here, making good ground and making full use of his attack mode. Very efficient overtakes, so he'll move up in the points hopefully.
Yeah, he's up into 9th place now, then ahead of Verne into the chicane. Next target will be Sam Bird. Norman Natto's also not far adrift of this, so let's see what Cassidy can do. He's always been good at cycling through the pack as the Kiwi.
Can we have compliance in McLaren or not? Check in.
So he's talking about a bit of compliance there is Oliver Roland.
I'm not sure he's going to be given that by McLaren, given the fact that he's so far in the lead of this championship, and they want Taylor Barnard to catch up, not have a bigger deficit at the end of this race.
Just for context, for those who don't know, the Nissan powertrain that's in the back of the McLaren is the same, of course, as the factory Nissan team, so they're hoping for a bit of inter-team gamesmanship going on there. And we'll see whether that proves to come to the fore. So Cassidy's now into 6th place, rather.
Pascal Wehrlein has taken the lead of the race. We've missed that, but Pascal has jumped past Dan Tickton.
Yeah, and he's got a half-second advantage over Dan Tickton. Team radio.
No, I'm asking if he doesn't fight me too hard.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 hopes of that one, and Bob's just left town, to be honest.
Yeah, no, after the battle we saw where Taylor pulled that beautiful move with the switchback on him at turn 15, he's definitely not going to be getting that compliance he's looking for.
Look at Roland for the inside line on Edo Mortara for 5th place into turn 15. A little bit wide on the exit, but the move is done. He's now got 5 minutes to try and cycle his way through to the front of the field.
He's going to have to get himself from 5th into the lead in the next 5 minutes if he wants a chance to win this race.
All or nothing time for Oliver Roland. He's going to throw everything at this one. Let's see how quickly he can depose of Jake Dennis. Down the start-finish straight we go. 50 kilowatts and all-wheel drive is no match for the Andretti, and now it's 4th place at the start of lap 23.
He went very deep into turn 1. The problem is he might overheat his tyres when he's pushing this hard. He's sliding a lot. He's a bit desperate.
Look at this. Top 3 going through into attack mode. Where does Roland go through? He comes out in 2nd place. Wehrlein retains the lead there, so that's worked out beautifully for Pascal Wehrlein. And for the TAG Heuer Porsche team, Tickton in 3rd position. And now you've got a bit of a stalemate.
Is he going to be able to line it up? He's looking good, he's looking good.
Wehrlein defends, but now is the opportunity with the extra traction and power. Wehrlein tries to push Roland to the outside, but Roland goes through and into the race lead for Nissan here in Tokyo, to the delight of the crowd in Japan. Oliver Roland is the lead. He comes to the end of attack mode. Now he's got track position. Can he hold the lead over the remaining 5 laps of this race?
What a fantastic move. Unbelievable. The gap was almost less than a Formula E's car's width. Oliver Rowland still managed to slip on through.
Verlaine tried to defend there, tried to squeeze him in the wall, but didn't make it.
So now we look at the top 4 drivers, all line astern, all with relatively similar levels of energy, and all with no attack mode deployments remaining. Keep an eye out for Mortara, though. I mentioned it earlier on. He could be a cork in the bottle here.
What's the attack situation behind?
Yeah, Mortara sniffs an opportunity here for a podium. He's got 40 seconds of attack mode remaining and an opportunity to find on Taylor Barnard. Looks for the outside into turn 9. Can he find his way through? Barnard's going to try and defend it. Parks the car in the middle of the road. On the outside goes Mortara into the chicane. That's a brave move through there. Barnard's got track position and holds firm for now.
He's also going to have a chance on the exit of this turn 15. Will we see a repeat of a similar move than what we just saw Oliver Rowland pull off?
Down into turn 15 we go. Mortara looking for the outside line. 15 seconds of attack mode remaining. Bit of hip and shoulder, faces the wall, and now he's going to have to try and find his way through into turn 16. That's a brave move through there. Barnard with again a robust defensive move, and into turn 16. The attack mode's going to come to an end here for Mortara. It's now or never time, and he's not managed to do it.
Brilliant defending from the rookie.
It's opened the door for Dennis as well on the inside. I think he's just managed to hold the position there for Mortara in 5th place, but there was an opportunity, and unfortunately it's not really amounted to much for the Swiss.
Now, the front two have been fighting. Barnard and Mortara have been fighting. Ticktum has been taking his time, and he has almost 2% more energy than both the cars in front of him. Could we see him mount a challenge for this victory?
Well, let's see how Ticktum can play this one. He'll know that he's got more energy. They'll be able to see that, but Barnard's ready to try and spoil the British Drivers' Party. He's going to have the inside line on the switchback, and Barnard goes through on Dan Ticktum for 3rd place.
Unbelievable move. Where did that come from?
Around the outside. So Ticktum had to slow down a little bit, and then Barnard went around the outside, and he was inside for the next corner. Brilliant.
That was fantastic, but look at Verlaine challenging Oliver Rowland down into the chicane, side by side, contact between the two. They managed to somehow exit the corner in the same positions that they entered, but Verlaine trying to get aggressive on Oliver Rowland for the race lead. This is going to be an absolute corker of an end to this one.
So here we are, turn 15. On the exit here, this is where we've seen some of the moves. Now you're coming up to the really difficult 16. Barnard again.
Yeah, we report, keep.
Barnard looking for the inside, trying to challenge for the outside. Here comes Ticktum looking for the inside line against Taylor Barnard. Into the final chicane, it's going to bottleneck up, nearly 3 abreast. Ticktum going for the outside on Pascal Verlaine. Doesn't manage to make it stick, but does get ahead of Taylor Barnard for 3rd place. Down the start-finish straight we go. Ticktum through for 2nd. Down into turn 1, Mortara on Barnard as well. This is getting frantic, fast and frenetic. Somehow, and now Dennis, look at this as well, on Mortara, challenging for positions. What a race this is turning out to be. It's Rowland in front of Verlaine. Ticktum now through into 3rd. Dennis on the inside of Mortara. Carbon fibre cranched and damaged there, but Barnard's in the wall.
Will we see a safety car or a full course yellow to neutralise this race? What amazing racing.
Goodness me, Barnard into the barrier, and a run for the podium, possibly a victory, comes to a premature end. Double yellow down at turn 5 at the moment, but are we going to get, as James said, a full course yellow or a safety car here?
Now, all of that came about because Oliver Rowland has spent too much energy getting to the front of this field after he took his 2nd attack mode. He's then been saving energy.
Trying to make the move before.
That's the thing, they're trying to make that move if there is a full course yellow or a safety car called. There we go, safety car. So that neutralises, sorry for speaking over Marek Aniszewski, the race director there, but that neutralises the race, and what Verlaine wanted to do was get that position in case the safety car stays out to the end of this race.
So all of that chaos was initiated by Oliver Rowland trying to save a bit of energy after he spent so much getting from 6th to 1st in that last attack mode. He had to recover some of that energy deficit, and therefore he was trying to slow down, recover it, and the fight behind was amazing.
Rowland's bolted, he's gone early, he had to, didn't he, going into the final corner. So across the timing line we go to begin the last lap of racing under green flag conditions. Rowland it is that leads from Pascal Verlaine, and no surprise at all there for Oliver Rowland. He is pushing on as hard as he can to try and not allow an opportunity for Verlaine, or indeed maybe Ticktum, to attack.
Ticktum looks like he's actually all over the back of Pascal Verlaine. His car's looking really hooked up here in 3rd place.
So through the left-hander we go, and down through into the right. Tictum trying to find an opportunity against Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein in turn trying to attack, but also keep an eye on his mirrors from behind. Now the track begins to open up as we end the first sector. Coming through the fast right-hander of turn 9, we have seen some moves being made into the chicane, but I think they're just a little bit too far away at the moment. And energy not really a concern thanks to that late race safety car. Into turns 10 and 11 we go. Keep an eye out for Jake Dennis from behind as well. He sniffs an opportunity for a second successive weekend on the Formula E podium. Through into turn 15. And again, we have seen some moves being made through there, but likewise not quite close enough. I think this is a case of defending rather than attacking at the moment. Unfortunately, the drivers just that little bit too far away, thanks to not needing to conserve energy in the closing stages of this race. So we come down now into the final chicane. An imperious performance once again from Oliver Rowland, who's going to win this one in Nissan's backyard. Oliver Rowland takes victory in Tokyo ahead of Pascal Wehrlein and Dan Tictum. A phenomenal race, and the late race safety car really changing the complexion of it. And again, it is Oliver Rowland who takes victory in season 11. His 4th win of the year. Absolutely phenomenal. Let's have a look at the race results then for round 9. Oliver Rowland it is that takes victory number 4 of 2025 in Nissan's backyard ahead of Pascal Wehrlein and Dan Tictum. Lucas de Grassi just behind Jake Dennis there. Dennis moved up 10 places from where he started. Huge credit to the Andretti driver. Vern Cassidy, Bird Buemi and Maximilian Günther complete the points finishers here this afternoon. It was a dramatic end to that race. Some will be very disappointed, including Eder Mortara, who picked up a penalty following contact which sent Taylor Barnard into the barrier and out of the race. Norman Nato also picking up a penalty in 17th position there as well. Van Dorn de Costa also failing to finish this one. And we saw Evans, of course, not making the start due to his crash in qualifying. So, a dramatic conclusion to round 9 of the Tokyo ePrix here in Japan. It's Oliver Rowland who extends his lead, though, in the Drivers' World Championship.
I don't know where to start. The race was crazy. I honestly didn't do a great job with my attack mode in the beginning. I dropped too far back, and then I got behind Nick, which was also in 350, so it stopped me from going forward. And I was a little bit regretting that at one point when I was like down in 5th or 6th. But I decided to roll the ball and go with the 6 minutes quite early, and it paid off quite well. And I just managed to get Pascal, and then I was obviously a bit fortunate because I was quite low on energy to get the safety car. But yeah, no words.
So the championship standings after the halfway point of the season sees Oliver Rowland having a comfortable cushion now over Pascal Wehrlein in the Drivers' World Championship. De Costa and Barnard failing to score today, moving them down to 3rd and 4th place respectively. Dennis leapfrogs De Vries and Mortara. Vern also moving up the standings as well. And further down the order, we can see delight for some drivers and disappointment for others, mainly for Lucas de Grassi. He'll be happy with the top 5-foot Lola Yamaha app. It's moved him up to 14th in the drivers' standings. Still 2 drivers failing to score so far this season. That's Zane Maloney and also David Beckman for Cupra. And the Teams Championship, what does it look like? Well, it's a bit like this. Nissan have now a very comfortable margin over Tag Heuer Porsche as we head into China. Mahindra into 3rd ahead of Neon McLaren. Andretti up ahead now of Maserati, and Jaguar also making some progress ahead of customer team Envision. Cupra and the Lola Yamaha app team completing the points finishers. And then the Manufacturers' Championship sees Nissan at the top of the pile ahead of Porsche, Stellantis in 3rd ahead of Jaguar, Mahindra, and then Lola bookending the 6 manufacturers in the standings. Oliver Rowland it is then that is the victor here in Tokyo as the trophy is held aloft in front of the adoring Japanese fans. They've been absolutely superb this weekend, and I'm sure they have enjoyed watching their home team taking victory.
That's all from us here in Tokyo, but the Asian leg of the season continues as we head to China in a fortnight's time for the Shanghai ePrix. You'd be mad to miss it.